I got a few things. First off, I want to talk about, we had our budget hearing this morning, and I was, well, I was not really happy with the results of that. The budget was not approved by the Budget Commission, and there was, by at least two of the Budget Commission members, in particular one, that
Let me guess.
there was an insinuation that we are overestimating our expenses, and we are continuing to have large carryovers that are not necessarily appropriate in their opinion. So I reviewed, in these budget hearings, you have 10 minutes, you're basically,
I know, yeah.
you're rushed through. It's a budget hearing, not for you, it's a budget hearing for the commission to make their comments on their budget. And I went through and I reviewed the numbers that were in the report that was cited by one particular member of the Budget Commission. And going through this report that's prepared by the auditor, they have in their report, for example, if you look in the general fund, they're looking at an estimated ending balance of $46,669. In other words, what they're telling me is that I estimated we were only going to have $46,000 in the general fund at the end of the year. That's not the number that I submitted in our budget. And if you look at our budget, on the second page of our budget, the estimated balance that I gave was $271,964.36. So it's a pretty big disparity.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to track through why they're coming up with this $46,000 number. From what I can surmise from the little time that I've had to go through this, they're using estimated numbers from last year to calculate this number for this year, instead of looking at my updated numbers, which show, again, a $271,964.36 at the end of this year. So it was very frustrating. You don't have time to go through all your paperwork in those 10 minutes to explain or to try and understand what it is, that they're trying to say or where they're coming from. Obviously, there's been a trend that we have underestimated or overestimated, I should say overestimated expenses, and so we've had some rollovers from year to year. That's been getting progressively better. And it's, what really frustrates me is the political, the political statements that are such as, we're misleading our voters, our residents, our taxpayers, and that's very frustrating. I have to go back to the Budget Commission to re-present our budget. I do have a tentative meeting with Auditor Chuck Walder to go over these issues. I have to say that Chuck has a very good understanding and knowledge of these numbers. He was a fiscal officer at one point, and so he understands how these numbers work, and he understands how these reports are generated from the auditor's office. So I think I can have a good conversation with him, and hopefully we can present to the other two members of the commission.
We're putting out road projects for bid
Correct.
of $1 million
Right,
every year.
yes.
So all you have to do is have a small kink in the price of asphalt and you're screwed.
Well, I'm looking at this, and, I'm struggling to figure out how we pay for this pavilion, honestly, to be honest with you. I'm struggling to figure out, do we have enough money, can we juggle enough money around to pay for the pavilion project? And here I'm being told that I'm overestimating our expenses, and it makes no sense to me whatsoever.
That's what you call politics.
I have, when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at having a carryover of $271,000 in the general fund, and it's probably gonna be a lot less than that.
Yeah.
Based on those expenses, and there's other expenses that have come up that we didn't even think about when I put the budget together. So it's very frustrating, and it's the same person every year that likes to grandstand, a person that I see once a year. I've never seen that person at this meeting. I never see him at any Jaga County Township Association meetings. I never see that person but once a year when he gets a chance to grandstand about how much the townships and other entities are spending, and that they're overestimating their expenses and they keep rolling over too much money because it's bad to have too much money. So, and I get the issue, but there's that, and then there's there was criticism about the 2191 fire fund, which we're not even gonna make it unless we put money from the general fund into that fund for expenses. And I'm getting flack for, he's saying, well, let me give you another example. They're saying that I've estimated we'll only have $15,548 at the end of the year for the fire fund. Patently false, first of all, because if you look at my budget, the number that's in there is $127,225. Write that down, Diane. It is, first of all, these numbers that are on this report for the estimated ending balance are useless.
Exactly, I agree with you.
They're absolutely useless.
And it's been that way
It's
for a long
based
time.
on prior year estimates. It does not take into account any changes that were made for this fiscal year. So, obviously, you can understand that I was very frustrated
I appreciate
by the
your
entire
efforts.
interaction. Other than that, I do have some resolutions. I've got your regular reports in front of you. Your funds